Hello everyone, and welcome to the game Mr.Mine. This is an incremental game. Some would call it an idle game, but I'm going to argue that fact during this video. I am currently under the Stats tab of the main menu, and the time played has just surpassed 200 hours. So 8 days, 8 hours, and just over 5 minutes. To say the least, I have buried myself into this game for the last few weeks. It has been very enjoyable, and I intend to finish it, which usually isn't done with incremental games. Usually takes a while. If you've watched any of my other incremental game videos, you'll see that the Clicker Heroes one took me thousands of hours. So I don't think this one will take me as long. I haven't found kind of a reincarnation aspect to the game, which did happen in Clicker Heroes. You basically go through the entirety of the game up into a certain point where you can't go any further, and then you start all over again. And you keep doing that until you completely get all the achievements. So speaking of achievements, we'll start there. In this game, they're called quests. There's 112 of them. They align with Steam quests that are for this game as well. So every time you get a quest in the game, you get a little task notification on Steam that you've gotten it. Most of these were fairly quick. I would say I got a lot of them, which within the first maybe 2 or 3 days, I would say. Some of them are hidden still, so it's just 3 question marks. You don't know what they are. And then some of them are visible, but you obviously haven't gotten them yet, but you can see your progress towards them. So for example, this is having a certain amount of a currency called building materials, having 1,000 of them at once. I have 43. So obviously it's going to take me some time to get that. So basically when I started the game, I had a bunch of different miners, in the sense that people that dig underground. They looked like this guy here to the left. They did not look like these demon people that are currently there. I reached these demon people by first hiring all 10 miners in a row and then getting better and better miner efficiency. And basically what the miners are doing are, you can imagine, gathering supplies. And so my supplies are up here in the top. They start with, fairly normal stuff that you would mine for: coal, copper, silver, gold, stuff like that. You then use those materials and you go to this craft center and you craft a bunch of different stuff in order to upgrade your drill. And the better your drill is, the faster you can drill through the different layers. I'm currently on layer 1273. So just to take you down to the drill, it's actually on the moon right now. The moon is the second, quote-unquote, level of the game. I have not yet reached the 3rd level, but I know what it's called because there's a quest that says Reach Titan. So I'm assuming they're talking about I think it's the moon of Jupiter. So that's kind of cool. It seems like there's just those 3 levels, so I think I'm about halfway through the moon right now. So I'm doing pretty well, I think. You might have noticed this thing over here on the side, this little scroll bar. There are a bunch of brown dots, and then there's a red dot, and I think there's a gold dot. Yes, there is. So these are different chests. So you have a brown chest here. That's just a normal chest. And this one gave me a building material like I talked about earlier. The gold chests give a bigger, better prize. And then the red dot here, that is someone that is attacking one of my miners. And you can see up here that if I do defeat this person, this entity, this attacker, then I'm going to get this prize shown up here. So I'm going to throw a small bomb in it, end my turn. I'll throw another small bomb, and then I'll heal myself, end my turn, another couple small bombs, and then I'll finish with my plasma gun, which is really, really good. And there you go. I get my prize. The miner is no longer being attacked. You can see that no one's moving right now. That's because I'm at capacity. I currently can only hold 200 million pieces of ore, whatever you want to call it. So I'll sell everything up until it reaches my limit. So I've put a limit on everything of a million. I think copper's at 10 million, or no, 50 million. There must be something that I have to craft with 50 million copper. And so if I go here, I can put little limits on how much is sold at any given time, and I can do the same thing. The moon has its own window of selling. Um, There's also the second window, which is the isotopes. So this is where it gets really cool, for me at least, as an engineer, and actually as someone that works in the nuclear field, the nuclear industry. So you have these isotopes, and basically what isotopes are, it's uranium, plutonium, polonium, stuff like that. And then there's different, like, the isotope is basically saying that it's different versions of that element. And so you have different versions of that element list there, and then you have different elements on the moon. And then for the most part, initially, you were kind of just using those to get a better drill or, make something else. But then, very recently, they unearthed this reactor, literally a nuclear reactor. So this is a fuel rod. Fuel rods are used in nuclear reactors, and right now there's a fan cooling it. Normally, just if you don't know, nuclear reactors use a lot of water to cool down the fuel rods. Hopefully, I can get that later on. Um, the the section that I can get the fans in, um, or the cooling units, I should say, just say fans. So maybe later on there will be like a cooling tank or something like that. But in any case, I have a reactor and I'm generating energy. And that energy can then be used down here at the lab, and I can purchase different types of buffs for the game. So this one increases the speed at which the miners find minerals. And then this one increases the drill speed, so I drill down to the next layer more quickly. There's the treasure chests. I can get 100% more money from a treasure chest. Bunch of different buffs. So that's kind of cool. That's another aspect of the game that I've been working on. Like I said, more recently, I've just unearthed it. Uh, my I'd only have a certain amount of batteries. You can see this blinking thing up here right now. So I'll go here and I'll purchase, this is 55 minutes worth of faster miners. I'll purchase that 3 times. And then there's a cheaper version for only 10,000 energy, and I'll purchase that 3 times. And then all of my fuel rods are now spent. So the element has decayed, and so I can collect the decayed material. And so I've got those 3 now. I'll leave that be for right now. I'll worry about that later. So for the most part, that's the essence of the game. Basically, you're just trying to drill down as far as possible to all the way to, I guess, through the end of Titan. Um, so in order to do that, you have a bunch of different stuff helping you out. Obviously, there you have the drill itself, and then you have these things called super miners. And so this person, every so often she increases the miner speed. And so I'll do that. And so all of your little buffs and potions are over here on the right. And then this person increases the drill speed. This person increases the drill speed. And then there's a trading post. And so the trading post, you can trade money for different types of buffs. So we'll do a drill speed buff. And then there's a trading post on the moon. And this one is saying I can spend $2.9 trillion for 11 million carbon. Sure, go for it. And basically, you're just kind of amassing more and more materials so that you can have a faster drill and basically just make your way through the game as best as possible. Um, the little mini game that they have on the side, there's caves, and so in a cave you can go in the cave, and there's this whole labyrinth of different tunnels and stuff, and you can send out drones. And so I'll send out just a couple basic drones, and what these will do, they will try to find all the different treasure out in this cave system. And the treasure could be, if we go back to the main cave menu, the treasure could be a scientist, which we'll cover next. It could be a time lapse, which are very beneficial, in my opinion. There's a buff. There's building materials that we've covered earlier. There's minerals, or the ores that I mentioned earlier, and then money. I think that's it. I don't think there's any. Oh, there's also, I guess, the in-game currency is called tickets. So you can buy tickets. I haven't bought any tickets. I like to play the game free to play. It's more enjoyable. Makes it seem like I'm actually doing something instead of just buying my way through. And you can purchase different things. So upgrades for the drones and upgrades for the scientists. Different types of tools and buffs and building materials and all this different stuff. So you can purchase those things with tickets, and you can find tickets in the caves. So I've just gone through and I've sent out all my drones. I only have a certain amount of fuel for all of my drones, so I sent out 6 drones that have 100 fuel each. I guess just for example, or for the sake of showing it for the video, I'll send out some different drones. So now we have a flying drone, an aerial drone, and that is 150 fuel, and they can see a lot further, so they can see all the different stuff there. So I'll send them out. I'll send 4 of them out, because 600 divided by 4 is 150, so that makes sense. And then for the third cave, I'll send out a magnetic drone. And so what that does is it will go along this line here that's highlighted in green, and it will pull in treasures from the outskirts of the line. So if we watch it for long enough, hopefully it'll do it here. This guy will travel down to this node here, this cave chamber, and it will start pulling in treasure from one segment off that cave chamber. So if we wait 2 more seconds, and there you go. So it's slowly pulling those in. And so then it'll be easier for me to send out a basic drone or an aerial drone. And they won't have to go down these little outcroppings. They can just collect it on the main drag. And so that's my plan for that cave. So as you can see, I have not upgraded the moon with all 10 miners yet. Still making my way through that. And this is what makes it incremental, is that I started on Earth, on the first level with like a couple $100, and then as I made my way through, it was a couple thousand, a couple million, made my way into the billions and trillions, and now I'm in the quadrillions, and it's just going to keep going from there. I'm assuming quintillion and sextillion and all the other tillions are soon to come. I said earlier that some people think that this is an idle game. I do not think it is an idle game, and I will show you why. And I'll start actually playing the game now. Oh, these are the scientists that I was talking about. I'm sorry if I start moving quickly, but like I said, it's certainly not an idle game. So the scientists are basically just a different form of the cave system, except that now these are people that you can hire to collect different things. And so you saw me just go through and kind of choose between 2 things that they can collect from. One is a little bit more easy to collect and less chance that they will perish in doing it. And then they can also find what are called relics. So relics basically just up certain aspects of the game. So for example, this relic increases the chance of getting what's called an ethereal chest. This one increases the chance that a scientist will be successful in what's called an excavation. So in getting whatever, um, item you want them to get. And then this one is my favorite. It increases all the time lapse durations. And what that means is, so right now I think I have a 50% increase. So if the time lapse is supposed to be 5 minutes, it'll actually be 7.5. So let's see if I can find some with a time lapse. There we go. So that was originally a 5-minute one, and luckily enough, it's exactly what I just did the example for. It's 7.5 minutes, and so that definitely speeds up the game significantly, because if you had seen, so this had 15 minutes left on it. This has 15 minutes left, 5-0. This has an hour and 4 minutes. But if I go through enough of these time lapses, and you can see that the capacity is already full again, because technically I'm going through and um, I'm pushing myself along more quickly than actual time is going through. So keep doing it. Try to find as many as possible. And basically this is, this is the game. You're basically going through and you're trying to collect as many currencies and minerals and everything possible, so that you can get a faster drill and a bigger drill and a better drill. And it's Mr. Mine. You know what I mean? You're just mining. That's the name of the game. So the 50-minute wait that I had for this excavation is now complete because of my time lapse. So I don't need any more books of success, so I'll get another medium bag of money, and I don't really need the buff, so I'll get a large mineral pile. And it looks like we have another cave that we have to go down. So I'll do another magnet drone, and we'll go from there. And then I can use some of these too. I could use a couple bags of money and a couple building materials, like that. Empty my capacity. And it's really, like I said, it's really just this. It's constantly going back and forth, and going through the caves and going to the trading posts, trading for more stuff, upgrading your system. It's interesting. It's very interesting. This section is, there's all the different equipment, I guess, for the battles that I just showed, and then this one is upgrades. So the different equipment uses energy, and I have health, and I have a bunch of different cards that I can get at one time. So let me see. Let's take all my workload off of that, and we'll give it to all the red gems. And let's see what else. So I'm collecting more chests, and just as the game goes on, more and more chests will show up. Let's see. So there's that. Now I'm creating more chests, and I'm going through them because I was idle. I wouldn't say idle. I was away from the game for a fairly long time. So there is an aspect where if you're away from the game for a little bit, it will continue to play while you're gone. So I guess that's that's the idle aspect of it. But when you're actively playing the game, it's not idle. You're actively playing it like this. So yeah, let me see if that's it. I think I've covered pretty much everything. Achievements, crafting center. There's a whole bunch of different buildings that you can upgrade and kind of work with. I know there's definitely still some stuff I have to find here. So like this thing here, just question marks. I have no idea what it is. I haven't found it yet. So there's definitely more aspects of the game that I haven't unearthed yet. And so I think that's why, just for this video, this is I guess an introduction. Just like I said, the first 200 hours of me playing this game, what I've found so far. I definitely enjoy it. It's one of those things where you can kind of leave it for 5 to 10 minutes or something, I'll go and play some of the other games that I play on another screen, and then I'll come back, and then there will be, you know, 20 chests to play, and my trading posts will be refreshed again, and there will be someone else attacking one of my miners, and all this different stuff. So these little mineral piles that I have to mine actively, like with my cursor, my mouse, um, stuff like that. Um, I'm rambling now, so I'll probably leave it there. Leave a comment below. Have you played Mr. Mine? Do you want to play Mr. Mine? Do you play incremental games? Hopefully you do. If you're watching this video, you've found it somehow. Some algorithm thought that you would like watching it, so hopefully you'll give it a try. It is a fairly old game, I feel like. It was I think it was recommended to me when I was back playing Clicker Heroes, and I had done some of those uh, videos, and someone had said, "Oh, we're releasing Mr. Mine. You should check it out." And I think I just put it on my Steam list, and at some point I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna start playing it. So here we are. Um, So with that, I'm going to end the video. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video and would want to see more, please like and subscribe. Definitely let me know in the comments if you want to see another video. Otherwise, I'll just finish the game, and maybe I'll put like a 2-minute video up just saying like, hey, finish the game. But if you want to see more about the game, if you want to see what happens in the lower levels or higher levels, however you want to say it, let me know. Let me know if you're interested, and I'll definitely put one out. So thanks very much again, and as always, keep on jamming.